Hi guys, I'm Susan from Sassy Stirrers. Today what we're going to be making is an Eton Mess. Now an Eton Mess is a mixture of crushed up meringues, whipped cream, summer fruits. I've got strawberries and some raspberries here. I add a little bit of yogurt into mine and that's about it really. So let's just go through the creamy process. So what I've done here is I've added a little bit of honey into my whipped cream. You need to whip your cream until it's quite stiff so that it holds its form. I added the honey because it makes it naturally sweetened, but also it helps it to hold that form as well, because you don't want it all collapsing and sort of going watery when we add those berries. So there we have it, there's our cream. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a couple of meringues and crush these into the mixture. Now when you're crushing them, don't make them too fine. You want them to have a little bit of structure in there as well, so your dish has some texture. If you make them too fine, oh I love that noise, they'll just mush into it, okay? So keep those quite chunky. So if you can see that, I've sort of kept them quite chunky. They don't need to be evenly crushed or anything like that. There's a couple of extra bits there. I'm going to leave two aside because I want to use those for when I assemble my dish. So I'm just going to mix that through just till it's combined. So you can see it's still quite chunky looking. Don't overmix it, you don't need to worry about that. And now we're going to assemble the dish. So today I'm going to be making it in these lovely crystal flutes, I think they're called. But if you haven't got something like that, it doesn't matter. You can make it in a simple tumbler or just a wine glass. That's quite a nice thing to serve it in. Or another, there's another little wine glass. So I sometimes serve them in these as well. It all looks really nice. Now, but when I'm wanting to be really, really impressive, I bring out this big baby. Okay, now that is the bee's knees, because if you bring that out at a dinner party or a family dinner, whatever, it always looks so impressive. It doesn't matter how simple the dessert is. People are like, wow, that looks beautiful. Well, it's all in the dish. So anyway, this dish is very simple, but absolutely delicious and everybody will love it. So as I say, let's get on with this. So I've got my creamy meringue mix going on there. So I'm just going to put a little bit into this glass. Now you can add all the strawberries into it at this stage, but I like to layer it up. So then I'm just going to put a few strawberries on top there. Now when you're doing your strawberries, guys, just make sure that you get them on the outside of the dish so you can see them from the outside. Okay. And this one. Now you don't have to be fussy about chopping up your strawberries, but just one thing I should say here, don't chop them up too fine because then they go mushy, okay? So keep them sort of quarters or halves, a little bit chunky. Now I am going, oh don't forget my raspberries, put those on the outside as well so you can see the difference in colour. It's all in the way you layer this that makes it look so impressive. Okay, and I'm going to put a little bit of yogurt in there on the top of that one. So I'm just using a natural yogurt here. Ideally you'd be wanting to use Greek yogurt, but I didn't have any in the fridge, so hopefully this will keep its form. Right, now you may not be fussed on natural yogurt, but I tell you, when it's mixed in with all the cream and the meringue and all that sweetness and richness, it just somehow is a really good balance. Now, so another layer of this. Did I put my meringue in there? Oh no, a wee bit more meringue. A bit of that on there. Already this is looking great. Okay, so can you see what I've done? I've just crushed a little bit more meringue on the top there, and then more of this lovely indulgent rich creamy meringue mixture. Just poke it out to the edges. Don't make these too big because it's quite rich. And a little bit calorific, but you know, once in a while, treat yourself, I say. Here we have it. Okay, I'm just going to pop that to the side. Now, next layer, so more strawberries. Now this is going to be my top layer, so I'm having to think about what it's going to look like at the end. So strawberries on the, well, I'm going to make it so that the strawberries can be seen from the top this time as well as the sides. Okay. Yum, yum, yum. Some there, there. And actually, I'm a bit of a funny one with this. I like odd numbers. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we want 5, not too symmetrical. And I'm just going to poke one there. So we've got 5 strawberries on that one and 5 on that one. And we need some raspberries. So just poke those over there. Right, so I've got 4 and 4, so I need another one on each one. I just think somehow odd numbers is more pleasing to the eye. Pop that one in there. Okay, and what comes next? A little bit more meringue. So as I say, we're going to keep this chunky. And just make sure that's sort of evenly scattered over the top. Now, can you see it at this stage? Right. Superb. And when you see it from the edges, you can see those different layers. Now, you could serve it just like that, but sometimes I go a little bit pretty with the top, and I like a few sprinkles and things on top. So I've just got some little gold balls. Whoops, you can't see that. Some little gold balls here. The cake decoration. So I'm just going to sprinkle some of those over top as well. Oopsie, on the dish, not on the counter. And one of my favourite things to put on top of this is my edible glitter. Okay, now here's a bit of a tip. I put my edible glitter in a salt shaker because it's a lot easier to manage, and when you're sprinkling it on top, don't do it down close. Keep your sprinkler thingy quite high, so then it will just sort of scatter itself in a nice layer over the top. Right, so if you can see this, absolutely delicious. Right, now as well, you could put some grated chocolate on top. I don't know, it looks pretty like that. I'll go on, let's put some grated chocolate on top. So I'm just going to take out my grater and grate some chocolate on top. Oh, this looks so yum. Look at that. I'm looking forward to dessert tonight, that's for sure. Alright, so that is it. As easy as that and as impressive as that, okay? So there's your pudding. Now I don't know if I told you before, but the Eton Mess, it comes from traditional cricket match between Eton and Harrow School. I think it was in the 1930s, but don't quote me on that figure. But they'd always have a big dinner afterwards, and this was the dessert that was always served at the dinner, and maybe it is still today, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, so enjoy making that, and thanks again for joining me today, and hopefully you'll see some of my other videos online and get into some cooking. Have a great day.